The following is actual footage of the Golden Green Ranger and his children watching Dino Fury Season 1, Part 2. Hello, Ranger fans. It's your favorite Beetlejuice cosplayer, aka Jesse, aka the Golden Green Ranger. Why? Because, like the Weather Girls, I like them tall, strong, and lean. You know what I'm saying? You don't. Okay, it's alright. Let's move on. Listen, I just finished Dino Fury Season 1, Part 2. You know, as individuals, we have two ways of looking at things, through a positive lens or negative. I am one that has always tried to be optimistic. And that's how I kind of feel about this second half of Season 1 for Dino Fury. It's a very optimistic season, and I enjoyed it very much. But I could go on and on about why I enjoyed it, but I'd rather just talk about the things that stood out during this season. And the first one I want to talk about is Ion, our new Gold Ranger. You see, I didn't understand the direction they were going with at first. He's not what you would think of as a Sixth Ranger. He isn't the new cool guy on the block. He isn't that strong, tough, show up when needed. He's very much part of the team immediately. And you can see a kind of distance between him and Zato. And it comes out in his backstory that not only is Zato kind of responsible for the Spork's invasion, but he holds Zato responsible for the death of the rest of the team, to the point where he questions his leadership. Only to later on realize it's not that easy to be a leader. And he turns down the position and says, Zato, you're a better leader than I ever can be and understand, and obviously you made the decisions that you thought were best at the time. But what I also liked about him is they kind of humanized him, which is ironic because he's an alien just like Zato. They let it be known that because he grew up his whole life as this knight who didn't get any recognition for his heroic deeds, that he enjoys the recognition. And I got that. It was interesting to see a ranger that liked praise. And because of that, he was kind of naive to how that can hurt your team. And it took him almost losing his Zord to understand that it's not about the praise you get or the pat on the back. Sometimes you have to be a hero and make those tough calls. And I like the 3 episodes that kind of focused on him growing as part of the team, learning to interact with people. And just like Zato, he is learning to be human and learning to work with the rest of the members of the team and understand the cultures of Earth and all that. And I think that was really, really neat the way they played it. So that's my opinion on the Gold Ranger. I think he's really cool. I like his shield that he has when he has that battle armor. I like his costume. Wasn't feeling him at first, and then once I kind of saw the direction he was going, I really enjoyed it. But let's move on. I want to talk about something that I kind of seen some negativity online about, but I really liked, and that was bringing back Zed. So Zed came back for an episode, Lord Zed himself. He was brought back from a monster that's able to resurrect past villains, which to me made a lot of sense. You know, he's no longer alive thanks to the Zordon wave. He ended up getting transformed into a good version of himself, so he somehow brought back evil Zed. Maybe that good version passed away, who knows. So a lot of people complained about the voice actor, but we know that the original voice actor for Zed has passed away, and I think this guy did a good job for what he was given. I do like the new suit. It's got that Sentai monster look to it, but with that, he can move quicker, and he can actually get down and fight the Rangers. And he was even asking for more of a challenge. I like this idea that Zed has stood by the sidelines too long, and he wants to get down to the action. I also like the fact that they dwarfed his power with not only a compliance collar, but him losing his staff to explain why he didn't just run through the Rangers no issue. With that being said, he kind of did. He slapped the Rangers around, was able to capture most of the team, Ollie only being able to rescue them, and then them joining forces with the two monsters that were also resurrected in order not even to beat Zed, but knock him a little bit off his feeding to the point where he said, okay, I'll come back and I'll fight again. Let me find my power staff and it's over. So bringing back Zed was pretty cool. I'm interested to see where they're going, whether he'll show back up in the season or if they're saving him for another season, but nonetheless, it was really interesting to see them bring back Zed. The other thing I want to address this season, which I thought was pretty neat, was the confirmation that Izzy is our first openly gay Power Ranger. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm a straight male. I can't speak on gay rights. I can't speak on the gay experience. I can only say what I've seen and how I feel. So I'm going to share this. I think it was handled really well. They didn't make some big spectacle out of it. They didn't change her character. She just happens to be the same Green Ranger that we've come to love. Articulate, fast, smart, witty, courageous, headstrong, that just happens to also date girls. Simple as that. It's my opinion, and just leave it at that sometimes less is more. I don't really care about your sexuality, and if they're going to have an openly gay ranger, do it that way. Do it to the point where she's still the same character. She just happens to be gay. Because isn't that who we are? We're not defined by our sexuality. We're defined by who we are as a person. Who we date or lay down with is only our business. So I'm going to leave it there before, I get any angry comments, because it's not my place to speak about it, but I did think it was handled really, really well. So that brings me to the last thing I wanted to talk about this season, and that is the final episode prior to the last episode this season. So the last episode this season was actually a Christmas episode, which I really liked, but I want to talk about the episode before that, the Void Trap. So I've gone on record many times to say I like a good villain that will get down and actually fight the Rangers, and that's what we kind of got with Void Knight. And he figures out that if he taps into the morphing grid, he can bring back this woman that he desperately wants to bring back to life, the love of his life, whoever she is. I believe it's Amelia's parents. I'm sorry if that's a bit of a spoiler. I said that in my last review, but I'm not going to touch on that right now. I'm just going to talk about the episode itself. So I think the episode itself was handled really, really well. One, they gave Ollie's mom so much more to do this season, or this half of the season. She's worked with the Rangers multiple times. I like her coming in and all the Rangers tech and technology and powers. And I like the fact that when it's revealed that Ollie is the Blue Ranger and the rest of the team are Ollie's friends, she actually tries to fight Void Knight herself because she doesn't want to put her son in danger and has to be held back. And I think that's really neat to see a parent that actually was willing to throw down, not only to protect the Rangers before she knew their identity, but afterwards when she finds out it's her son, that no, you're not going to lay a hand on my son. And it takes the Ranger team having to hold her back to say, we got this. I like the idea that the Rangers had to give up their powers in order to save the rest of the Ranger team because they were captured at that point. So Ollie made the decision to destroy the statues, which cost them their powers. I really like this idea that the Rangers had to fight unmorphed, which I've always enjoyed, a good choreographed unmorphed fight, which this was probably one of the better ones. And I really, really liked this idea that Void Knight was still too powerful. The only way they were able to defeat them is with my girl Izzy, still my favorite this season, jumping up to destroy the machine and him jumping on it, pushing her off, and it blowing up. So it was really good for kind of a season finale to see where it's going. I didn't like the idea that the Morphin Masters immediately came and gave them back their powers. I get it. It's a kid's show, and you want to make sure that kids will come back and watch it, and the idea of Power Rangers being unmorphed for another season would not translate well to kids coming out. Translate well? Thank you. Coming back to watch again, so I understand that. But as an adult watching, I thought it would be an interesting direction to see that they lost their powers and start season 2 without their powers. I think would have been really cool, but, that's just poking at a dead bear by this point because it was still a great episode. The other thing I really wasn't fond of is revealing Void Knight's face so early. I think it was like second episode into the second half of the season One, that they showed his face, and I actually like the actor. I think he does a great job. I like to see that it's just a normal looking guy underneath that armor, and it kind of touches into that line of where Zeon or Zato says, "Where did you get that armor?" in the first episode. My issue is, if you watch the end of the episode when they destroy the machine, you find out that not only did that girl survive, her machine looks cracked, the one that Void Knight had on ice, but you see that his helmet is also there and all destroyed looking, and I think that would have been the proper place for the face reveal. With that being said, we don't know if he's alive. We just saw his helmet. We're going to assume he's alive, and I'm sure that he is. We need a season 2 villain, but I'm interested to see where that direction goes. So, overall, it's just been a great season. I had a blast watching this. Really good for a Power Rangers season. Hasbro's done a really good job in their storytelling, character development. I mean, everything really, really works. Even had a Seinfeld moment where Ion, does a really cocky, arrogant thing and then goes to pound Zatos and he says, "No pound for you." I thought that was hilarious. So I like the fact that although it is a kids show, it is also understanding that there is adults that still love and watch the show, and it still winks and nods with them. Even bringing back Zed, that was a wink and nod to the adults that still grew up watching the show and loving it. So overall, this season gets a big thumbs up from me. It was just a great season to watch. I want to say I really appreciate you guys coming out and watching these videos. The channel's done way better than I thought it would, and it means a lot to me. I know some of you were going to look at my views and my subscribers and say, "You're not doing great," but to me, I didn't expect anybody to watch. And the fact that I have somewhat of an audience is really appreciative. I'm a 30-something-year-old man that grew up watching the show and loved it and hid it for years about how much this franchise has meant to me. And coming out of my comfort zone and making a YouTube channel devoted mostly to Power Rangers and actually having people watch it is much appreciative. So, as always, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and keep enjoying. I appreciate it. And no jokes this time. I really mean this from the bottom of my heart. Thank you again for watching and continuing to support this channel, and may the power protect you.